the saying, you are what you eat. Well, our next guest says you're also what your food eats. We welcome Dr. Ernst with Cornerstone Health Center. Dr. Ernst, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fabulous, thank you.
All right, now you are a huge proponent of eating only grass-fed beef and free-range poultry and also wild-caught fish. How come?
Well, mostly because the current evidence in the research is suggesting that when you really pay attention to what your proteins eat, it can actually create an anti-inflammatory response in the body and help you to heal. So we really want to pay attention to the food we eat, but more importantly, what they eat.
All right, well, let's talk about toxicity in the environment, how animals absorb it, and then how it is also passed up to us.
Yeah, so it's a concept called bioaccumulation, and it's mostly applying to the seafood and fish we consume. So, for example, if there's a small contamination of mercury or some other toxins into the ocean, the plankton and the small fish, krill example, will absorb those. Well, then you have the larger fish, salmon will eat the plankton and the krill. Then you have the larger fish, the tuna, that eat the salmon. Then you have even larger fish like the swordfish and the shark that eat them. So the toxicities are accumulated simply because larger predators eat more small predators. And then if we eat that, the big fish, we accumulate those toxins.
So do wild fish even pick up heavy metal toxicity?
They do, unfortunately. So we know that second to amalgams in our mouth, so the silver fillings, fish is the #1 source of mercury toxicity for us as humans, even if you're going wild caught. But we want to stick with the small fish because, of course, they don't have the bioaccumulation. So salmon, yellowfin tuna, the ones to watch out for are the ahi tuna, the swordfish, the shark, the grouper, the marlin. And while we talked about it, those are delicacies and our favorites. They're the ones that are loaded with toxins.
Wow. Now, how are humans, how are we affected by antibiotics that are used in animals?
So now we're jumping out of the ocean proteins and we're going to land proteins. And there was a statistic recently that said antibiotic use in the United States is actually dropping, but that's only for humans. We consume 3 million pounds of antibiotics, but the animals eat 25 million pounds of antibiotics. So right now, unfortunately, most animals are eating an antibiotic, and again, it's the same issue of the bioaccumulation. The antibiotics are in their meats, and so if we eat traditional beef or turkey or chicken, we're actually eating some antibiotics.
25 million?
Million pounds, yes.
25 million pounds. Okay, well, let's look at some solutions. What do you suggest we eat for good health?
So the best thing we can do is pay attention to our proteins, and that would be why I stress the fact that if you're going to eat beef, it has to be grass-fed, mostly because corn-fed beef has been found to have a shifted inflammatory fat that gives us inflammation and disease. Same thing with the turkey and the chicken. We want to pay attention to them, making sure they're eating non-antibiotic, non-genetically modified foods. So basically, we have to pay attention to our fats and our proteins, but the fats are found in the protein. That's why it's so important that it has to be grass-fed, wild-caught, and free-range. So
what should we avoid?
So we need to avoid what's called conventional farmed food products. So that would be corn-fed beef or vegetarian-fed chickens or farmed fish. And unfortunately, farmed fish are actually fed pellets that have grains inside of them. The second thing we need to avoid are grains themselves. The reason farmers feed their cows corn is it fattens them up. So when we eat corns like grain and rice and soy and wheat and oats, it fattens us up as well.
Dr. Ernst is offering a complimentary 15-minute consultation to discuss healthy eating and other health issues. The number to call is 704-597-7490. Choose option 1 and the scheduling coordinator will make your appointment. You can also visit AskDrErnst.com/consultation. Dr. Ernst, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you once again.